With Hollow Knight Silksong finally on the horizon, only one more day until release as of the time of writing, more and more players are diving back into the original game one last time to clean up any lingering content. And even more players are just now jumping in for the very first time. The Pantheons and Absolute Radiance are no joke, and I'm assuming they're the content most returning players are looking to complete before getting started on Silksong. Whether you're revisiting Hallownest and brushing off the rest, or only just now picking up the nail for the first time, there's one thing that can make your journey through Hollow Knight's endgame content a whole lot smoother. Powerful charm builds. I have one video up about underrated or off-meta charm builds if you want to try more unique and quirky builds, and I've also got a charm tier list up if you just want to know general charm viability. But in this video, we're going to go over what are, in my personal opinion, 3 of the most overpowered combat charm setups in all of Hollow Knight. These are builds that can absolutely shred bosses and speed through Pantheons. These aren't just good, they're game changers. So whether you're prepping for Silksong or just catching back up on Hollow Knight, let's jump into the 3 most powerful charm loadouts in Hollow Knight. Make sure you have all 11 charm notches unlocked if you want to make the most of these. Future me, if I ever make a video on all 11 charm notch locations, be sure to edit in a card for that here. While all 3 builds we'll be covering today are incredibly powerful, I do think that there are slight jumps in power here between the 3. Let's start with the lowest and work our way up, but they're all great, and the bottom 2 are interchangeable depending on your playstyle. The first build I like to call the Spellweaver build. If you've seen my underrated charm builds video, I did cover this build there, but it really surprised me at how consistent and powerful it really is. So much so that I've decided to include it here as one of the most powerful builds in Hollow Knight. Spellweaver primarily consists of Weaver Song, Grub Song, Sprint Master, Shaman Stone, and Spell Twister. For your final 2 notches, you can throw on any 2-notch charm you prefer, such as Soul Catcher, Unbreakable Heart, or Long Nail. Let's go over each charm's function in the build, and then the notable synergies that make this build work so well. Weaver Song is pretty mediocre on its own, and it just offers occasional chip damage from the Weaverlings. However, adding Grub Song into the mix activates their charm synergy and turns the Weaverlings into an amazing soul battery, as each hit from them will generate some soul for you. Sprint Master is actually not here for the walk speed boost at all, we don't care for that. Instead, it's actually here for another synergy as it makes the Weaverlings more aggressive. This allows them to more reliably generate soul for you in comparison than if you didn't have it on, and it's only 1 charm notch, so it's not a big notch cost to us at all. With the steady gain of soul under our belt, we can throw on Shaman Stone to put all that soul to good use. Shaman Stone is one of what I call the big 3 charms in Hollow Knight, and you'll be seeing a lot of the big 3 as this video goes on. Shaman Stone will drastically increase your spell DPS to massive numbers, and it will also increase the size of your fireball spell to make landing hits super easy. It even opens up the door to landing double hits with a single fireball, which just means double damage off of a single spell cast. Next up we have Spell Twister, which greatly reduces the amount of soul that your spells cost to cast and even allows you to rapid fire 4 spells from a full soul container. This is technically more efficient than Soul Catcher, which costs the same amount of notches, and Twister has the added utility of being able to spam 4 down spells in a row. This is incredibly useful in some scenarios, like Absolute Radiance platform phase, as it allows you to remain in her face while doing big damage through your iframes. The last 2 notches don't matter much here. If you just want a bit more soul per nail hit to ensure you still have some left over for the occasional heal, throw on Soul Catcher. You can also do Fragile or Unbreakable Heart if you just want to be a bit more tanky overall, or Long Nail if you want ever so slightly safer nail hits. Personally, I always go with Soul Catcher here. This build excels in spell DPS and soul generation, but lacks completely when it comes to nail damage. Honestly though, you don't really need the nail damage. The steady chip damage from the Weaverlings alongside the regular chunky spells means you're dropping bosses super quickly anyways, and you won't really miss the nail damage as long as you're comfortable and consistent with landing your spells. Spells do take a bit of practice to get used to though, and I hardly used them at all when I first started playing Hollow Knight, so I definitely understand that a lot of new players don't feel totally comfortable with using them at first. That's where my personal favorite charm build comes in, and it's our second most powerful build we'll be covering today. Meet the Nail Go BRRRR build. This build consists of Fragile or Unbreakable Strength, Quick Slash, and Mark of Pride. For your last 2 notches, you can do a combination of 2 high tier 1-notch charms such as Steady Body and Grub Song. Alternatively, you can take a 2-notch charm such as Sharp Shadow, but it's not my personal favorite. Remember the big 3 I mentioned in the Spellweaver build? The first we mentioned was Shaman Stone, and now we have the other 2 here on this nail focused build. Fragile or Unbreakable Strength is a 50% boost to your nail damage with no negative side effects like reduced swing speed, so it's just a straight up 50% boost to your nail damage. Then you've got Quick Slash, which synergizes incredibly well with Strength by reducing the cooldown of your nail swing by 39%. These 2 together mean your nail hits way harder and you get hits in way faster. The additional beneficial side effect of getting more hits in more quickly is that you also generate soul more quickly, so Quick Slash doubles as both a DPS charm and a soul generation charm. Mark of Pride is great here for keeping your enemies within range of your nail swings, closing the distance in certain encounters with flying or teleporting enemies, and also allows you to take engagements from safer ranges. If you couple this with steady body, you'll be an unstoppable and unrelenting nail swinging machine that takes no horizontal recoil upon successful nail hit. Grubsong can also help a bit here with ensuring you have enough soul for the occasional heal, but as you're getting so many hits in and not doing much spellcasting, you usually have enough for that anyway. This build is just bonkers for nail damage output, and the nail will truly melt bosses with this setup. You have no options for boosting your spell damage here, but you honestly won't really miss it at all. Here we are at the final and most powerful combat build in all of Hollow Knight. The first two were great, amazing even, but this last one is the most consistent overall at clearing bosses and pantheons. Last up we have what I just call the meta build, which uses all three of the big three charms. Talked about it before, but it is a bit of a bummer that the top three charms in Hollow Knight are all essentially just net DPS buffs, and some of the more unique or interesting charms aren't on a similar level. But you really can't argue with the results this setup gives you. Let's start with the insane combo of Fragile or Unbreakable Strength with Quick Slash for rapid fire nail hits that hit like a truck. Rapid hits from Quick Slash means we have plenty of soul for healing or spellcasting, which will turn our spells into boss melters with Shaman Stone. For the last two notches, I recommend Spell Twister or a combination of Steady Body with Grubsong. Both options are great for different reasons. I usually like Spell Twister for the final stretch of Pantheon 5 where you take on Pure Vessel and Absolute Radiance, for example. And the rest of the time, I like Steady Body and Grubsong or Nailmaster's Glory to ensure I have enough soul to sustain myself through the long trek of the Pantheons. There's really not much more to say about this build. It has the overall highest DPS output in the game and is the most versatile at obliterating anything the game has to offer while still giving you great soul generation. If you have a build that you think deserves to be up here, please share it down below so other viewers can try it out. I'd also like to mention that I'm super excited for Silksong's Crest System, as it's going to operate super differently from Hollow Knight's Charm system. For example, we've seen that Crest can even change your basic attacks and movesets, whereas the Knight just has the one locked-in moveset that we can enhance certain aspects of. Maybe some Crests will have good tool slots, but not good movesets. And maybe some Crests will have good movesets and not good tool slots. We've got Hornet doing that looks like claw swipes. One Crest gives you this cool uppercut attack, and another Crest even lets your aerial attacks do like this teleport around type of effect. There's a lot more layers to the Crest system than there is the Charm system. I do think the community is going to latch on to one or two Crests as the most powerful ones at first, but I think maybe later on, as time goes on, we might find one or two more that are actually super good. I'm just super excited for all the speculation, testing, and everything else to come. We'll certainly have a lot more to review and discuss for the sequel, especially considering tools and equipment, and I can't wait to get started on the best loadouts for Silksong later. See you next time.